Okay, so we are back. I don't know what happened last week. Something may have been migrating from Hangouts on Air to YouTube Live, but now Hangouts on Air works again. Anyways, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. A little bit nervous. I think that Luke may have his first stomach ache of sorts. Which is a little bit nerve-wracking. But anyways, it seems to be a little bit better now.
Okay, good.
But apart from that, everything is brilliant, actually. I'm really happy of everything. So I wanted to talk to you about images today. So what I think that we should do is we should support somehow creating some kind of computed field that adds an extra field that's called URL or something that some consumer can use to put it in the src attribute of an image tag. That's the goal. And I realized that it's way more complex than this because of responsive websites and bandwidth usage, but that is the primary goal so far. And I've got some code that I've been working, and I'm going to share my screen. Are you in front of a screen, or are you in your?
Yeah, I'm on a couch on my screen. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Oh, look at that. I fixed my camera, and I didn't realize that I had it turn it off. Okay, I'm gonna share my entire screen because I'm just brave like that.
Ooh, Inception.
So basically, I created. Where is this? Oh, here. I created a field definition that's the download URL for a file, and what I'm doing is I'm just piping this custom field class.
Yeah, and there you call file create URL. Right.
Yeah. This is just a proof of concept. I mean, don't call me off using procedural code in here.
It is there, I know.
But the thing is that when we make the request, where is Postman? Postman. All right. When I make the request, so this is an article, and I'm selecting the image type and including. Am I not including the? Let me see. Yes, I'm including the field image. So when I request this, what I get is here I get the URI, which is not that useful for a client, and then I get the URL, which is basically the image. This is some screenshot that I had demonstrating how stupid JSON parse is in Node. Anyways, so yeah, that is it. And you could theoretically do many of the things that you want to do, but not filtering or sorting, I think.
Well, I think filtering and sorting is really an edge case here. I mean,
it is for the concrete example of URLs.
That's true, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you have made something more generic?
No, but I was thinking on, this is like the first case that I've been encountering of a computed field. And I actually had to jump through some hoops. So that's where I'm getting to my question to you. I had to jump through some hoops in order to make this work because of the way that we are processing this. So in here, while we are normalizing the field items, what we're doing is we're calling field is empty. And if instead of setting the value and processing it in the constructor, you do what it's recommended in the Drupal.org documentation, which is just implement the get value method and put all your business logic in the get value. If I do that, this doesn't work because checking is empty doesn't go to get value. So it's like that business logic never existed. And if I just add a condition here saying field get store at definition, that field definition is computed. If I do something like this, then when I get to here, this field array is iterated empty because that doesn't use get value either. The get iterator method doesn't use get value, so it wasn't getting to here to use the logic that I was setting. So I was wondering, is there any particular way of accessing fields that is more recommended than this, that will make computed fields work seamlessly without any other effort?
Well, I mean, one question, the only thing I was wondering, like right from the start, is why is that a computed field and not something on the normalizer level?
Right.
Well, I'm just wondering. I mean,
so the answer to that is that in this case it may be simple, but if we add a computed field, the entity cache will be leveraged. That's one of the things. The other thing is that this may be useful for other cases as well. Like we could have this code that I wrote live in core, and the REST module would access this just the same way that we do. So that's the other reason. But I see what you mean. I mean, you could do all sorts of crazy things with the normalizers. Actually, that's where you do all the extensibility of the JSON API output.
Yeah, and the other thing is, do we also want to support image styles?
Yeah. When I said that this is like the very basic that we should achieve first, I was thinking about the picture module and the image styles. Like I've grown to accept that that for small viewports, the just cropping and resizing the image sometimes is not enough. We should support somehow a link to some sort of list of image styles. I don't know how to approach that.
Yeah, I mean, an image style is a config entity, so at least it would be a queryable, right?
Yeah.
But and then you somehow need to be able to specify in which image style you actually want those URLs to be in.
Let me show you. No, this is. I'm going to show you an example that I was putting up. Right. So there is this that I was saying that somehow you want to specify, like you want to allow the consumer to specify the exact transformations to the image that they want. So
I'm not sure. Isn't the problem with that approach that you can basically, I mean, do we want to cache that generated image or not?
Right. So what I was saying in this paragraph is that with that information, then the server can do many things. It can just narrow it down to, hey, this is the closest lossless image style that I can deliver for you, right? And only try to get it close to it or return the original image, something like that. It could just give you an error if you didn't respond with settings that apply to a certain image style, or it could even just return an specially crafted image URL that works with Cloudinary or Akamai. There is this service in Akamai. If you're using Akamai, sometimes you just want to use a specially crafted URL that kind of transforms the image for you with the exact dimensions without no load at all for the Drupal site. So that's why I was suggesting that all the image style and responsive images, business logic, or even features can live in a separate contrib.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds really interesting. I'm wondering what is the common case of using it? Like, would the common case still be actually specifying the image style? Because, I mean, yeah.
Because that is, like, image styles is one of those cases where you are, if you're using image styles baked in the response, you are coupling the server implementation with the presentation, right?
Right. But I mean,
that's why. And another possibility could be create an entity type that is linked from the image field, from the image entity, and that entity type relationship, like it goes to, yes, so it would be like an entity that has a list of all the possible image styles, and you can filter on that and say, okay, include the image style for the image styles for this image, but only give me the 2000 by 300, whatever, right? So you could use the includes and the sparse field sets to get the image style that you want. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So,
okay.
Yeah, so that basically would be like an image entity on top of the file entity or something like that.
Yeah. So it would be like, where is, I want to stop sharing my screen. So it would be something like, if this file entity is an image, then add a relationship to this other entity that contains as fields all of the URLs of all of the image styles in the site.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that is the right direction.
Yeah, it seems quite a complex solution.
It seems like a complex solution, but it would allow us to achieve the. Hey, David. It allows you to get the feature that we want, which is allowing the consumers to request the image style that they want. It reuses the interface between the consumer and the server, which is the includes and the sparse field sets. And the implementation can be a little bit daunting, but I think that the end result may be easy to work with, maybe not so much to maintain.
Well, I mean, certainly from a, like when this would be a separate contrib module, I mean, you could also go with another solution if you really want to.
Right. So what I was trying to achieve is some kind of, allow me the terminology, URL interface that you can then provide a solution with image styles, with CDN integration, or with even, I don't know, a proprietary proxy implementation, or even another different concept that allows you to use GD or ImageMagick to do whatever transformation. Like you don't even need to have a config entity of an image style to get 600 by 800, right? I think Daniel dropped. David, do you want me to get you a little bit more context?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
So what we're discussing here is the ability to first allow the consumers to display images, because right now what they get is the URI with the public or private schemes, which may not be ideal. And second, how to display how to allow the consumers to resize the images by either reusing in image styles, etc. And how do we make all the puzzle pieces to work together? Daniel, I'm not sure if you're back or not.
I'm kind of back. Still fighting with the internet. Anyway, well, I don't know. I mean, if your solution works, try it out and make it a contrib module and see what people think.
I think that it should be outside of JSON API. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just submit that patch. I don't have the time to write tests for it, but maybe someone will, and maybe I will in the future when I get time again to work on this. So this was one thing. The other thing was the denormalization using UUIDs. I think this is kind of a critical, I would say, because right now, it works like from a read-only point of view, but I would say that only 60% of the usage would be read-only, and I'm making the number up. But I think that in many scenarios you will want to write entities and configuration, and it's kind of broken because even if you're using, or the configuration says that you're using UUIDs for entity identification, you need to provide entity IDs when you're sending payloads to Drupal. So that is like another major focus point. I think that Gabe may be working on this at some point, because he may need it for client work, but I don't know. So this is like the other hot topic that I'm seeing right now. And apart from that, I think that the config entity normalizer was broken because of the lack of support for multiple value properties, which was never there. I don't know, never broke because of that, and then it broke. I provided a fix. Do you have any? I know that you worked a little bit around the denormalization using UUIDs. Do you have any tips to provide in that ticket?
Do you talk with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have anything in my head anymore.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. There is some code, and hopefully not, there is a test that is failing. So
Yeah.
TDD for the win. Yeah, and also there has been some movement in the HQA. I don't know if you guys noticed.
You
No?
want an honest answer or not?
It was interesting to see how
Okay, yeah.
people are trying it, and they are reporting things that I would say they are not critical. Like these two things, like being able to generate a URL to use as an image is critical, and being able to denormalize your UIDs is also critical. But apart from that, the things that are coming up, they are kind of minor. If you don't take into account that that the multilingual decoupled approach is kind of on the air, and I assume that this will be a topic of discussion in Dublin.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, there has been some discussion how you actually say which language you want to choose. Because, yeah, you could, I mean, it is kind of similar to the browser problem, but also not, because there's like a standard for accept headers. But then there's no caching, then you maybe want to put stuff into URLs. Yeah.
Right. So
I mean,
we also had the standard for the hypermedia negotiation, right? And
yeah.
the accept header, and we moved away from that.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically the same. It's yet another dimension for those. So yeah, I guess we need to go with URLs.
I would say so,
yeah.
but
yeah, one question you could ask is whether you want to support to somehow ship all the languages in one response, like a multi-part response or something.
Yeah, I saw that ticket. I don't know. It seems like the most of the time people deal with one language at a time.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so as well.
So trying to code for that 1% or whatever the number is.
Yeah, another question one could ask is how do we want to support revisions at some point? So you wouldn't actually ever want to update an existing revision, but maybe you actually want, like if you want to change like the workflow status maybe, but you also want to create new revisions and select a specific one to render it. So that would probably need new endpoints, I guess.
That is true. Yeah, and something that is Drupal only.
Is it? I mean, is there no extension for revisions?
I haven't come across any. Maybe.
But it's weird because I mean, CouchDB has revision support native.
Right. Yeah. I guess CouchDB uses its own specification.
Right.
I think Relaxed is all about that. I don't know. That's a very good question. I'm gonna create just a placeholder to remember about this. We want broad support for revisions or not.
So, I mean, if you search for revision in the JSON API issue queue, there is some stuff in there, but it seems to be more like an example for extensions you could have.
Right. Well, maybe we could treat revisions just like any entity, that happen to have, like, if you work with revisions, you're forced to work on UUIDs, and then they are their own entity. They just happen to have a common property called entity ID.
Yeah, I hope.
don't know.
Yeah.
I think that the support for UUIDs is going to be key for this.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you need UUIDs for the revision IDs, right? Like revision UUIDs. But then there's also another approach which uses revision hashes, which is basically a hash of all the content plus history.
Oh, wow.
So basically like Git does it. So you can actually do something when you merge things together. Like that's all deploy module magic. So I guess that's why no one actually worked on it in 8.2. But yeah, I guess in 8.3 there will be support for some kind of UUIDs or a similar thing.
Yeah, I think that I may need to do some more reading. Right now, this is a little bit over my head. So much stuff. Right, I think that that you're right. Revisions are a good thing to have support for. I've got to tell you that I implemented for 777 for the RESTful module an SPS-based preview system for the couple side. That was a lot of pain and is slow as hell because working with revisions makes caching, at least in 777, not great.
Yeah.
And well, it could be done, but in that case, all of the heavy load was shifted to SPS, anyways.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens around preview in the 8.
Yeah, for the couple sites, I don't know. Maybe that's one of the features that you just you don't have, unless you have to build it for someone.
Right. I mean, it's always easy to build a custom solution. Well, it's not easy, but it's at least doable because you have some constraints.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
yeah, it's not like building it for everyone.
Exactly. Right. Unless you use some bad config modules which solve things in a really generic way. And anyway. Yeah.
Anyways, this is everything that I wanted to talk to you about. Do you guys have anything to share with the group?
Not really on my side. As I said last week, I'm pretty busy this week and the last week and this week. Hopefully, we will deliver the project this week, so maybe we'll be a little bit more free. But anyways, I'm planning to spend some time this afternoon, maybe looking on the test on JSON API, maybe how to, if there are needed tests, maybe adding one or two, because we are having a call on the work in a couple of days about unit testing on Drupal 8. So it will be a good point to start. So if you know any issue that needs a test, just let me know, and I will have a look this afternoon.
I will give you an issue that needs a test. And because before you joined, I said, I'm going to post this as is because I don't have any more time to work on it, and maybe someone will add a test. So this is perfect.
Awesome.
Nice. Community. I love when different interests align together. Cool. So 1 week closer to DrupalCon. I assume that you two are going.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, me too.
Cool, cool. Then we'll see you there and probably next week.
Okay.
Okay,
See you.
perfect.
Have a good week. Bye.
You too. Bye.
You too. Bye. Thank you.